What is going on, everybody? This is Duke White. You're watching Real Life with Duke White. You guys know how I am. I'm a sucker for the artist, love the artist. Music is my jam. Music is my jam. I like the way I did that. And that flowed naturally, by the way. Um, I'm big on supporting our independent faith based artists, our writers. When a town, a neighborhood, a family, a person is discouraged, these are people that open themselves up and allow God to say something or show them something or be vulnerable in a way that inspires other people to come out. Musicians, poets, these are people that actually cause generations to see and appreciate life in a way, in a sensitivity that normally the overwhelming nature of life would cause you to be blind to. So we need our independent artists. We need our artists. But there's nothing more beautiful than artists who truly share their vulnerability, their passion, their experience with God, or their experience walking with God, and share it from the purest place, not trying to sound like everyone else, not trying to be a trend. Because most of the music that everyone falls in love with follows that exact formula. And then usually it's the people after that that just go, I'm going to do what they did because it worked. No, authenticity matters. And so this artist that we have coming up, this writer that we have coming up, is one of those people that I'm talking to you about. And this is not like some selling intro thing. Like, for those of you who don't know me, this is how I am. I need everybody praying for me because I'm preaching about spiritual warfare and surviving witchcraft and surviving idolatry, and I'm teaching it from the perspective, like from a cultural perspective, that if we're going to see revival, America has to come out of the idolatry. America has to come out of the witchcraft and the really stupid things that we've attached ourselves to. In my case, and of course, my show Real Life with Duke White that you're invited to. So without further ado, I want to bring up our guest, Miss Paige Powell. Mrs. Paige Powell, how you doing? It's
Hi.
it's so good to have you on.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here. This is so exciting. You know,
Yeah,
you mentioned something about how America needs to get away from idolatry, and
yes.
and one of the things is superstition. And I've got a song about that. It's called Black Eyed Peas, as in I don't need no black eyed peas on New Year's Eve. I will put my trust into the Lord. And it's
Yeah,
it's one of my biggest songs. And it was written because it was that time after Christmas, between Christmas and New Year's. I'm in the grocery store and I started to get some black eyed peas. Oh, I need those for luck. And I'm thinking, no, I'm going to put my trust into the Lord. And so I'm going down the grocery aisles. I don't need no black eyed peas on New Year's Eve. I started singing it, and that was the start of the song. So,
yeah.
yeah, I
But
always try to write songs that are to the world,
yeah,
not necessarily to other Christians, because I don't want to be preaching to the choir. You know what I mean?
right.
It's so that's why I have a lot of songs that are like, oh, what's this about? Like I've got a song called I'm a Sinner. I mean, that is like, whoa, and I've got myself in a long evening gown on the cover of that. That's doing pretty well. And then I've got some other songs that are kind of, attention getters, like Pornography is a School. It's like, whoa, what's that song about? Well, it was based on a sermon by Andy Stanley.
Oh
And
wow.
I brought it to my, yeah, and I have a link on my webpage to that sermon. I think he did it in 2015. It was called the Gentleman's Club, and he started talking about how we should honor women in our, especially in the church. And then about 20 minutes into the sermon, he starts talking about pornography. I'm like, whoa. I mean, he laid it out. So I wrote a song about it and I brought it to my songwriter group. Of course, they're all going, what is this about? So they listened to the song. They said, well, Paige, you sound like you're preaching. And I said, well, it's based on a sermon. So, but you know what? Um, there was a woman in the songwriter group. She said, "You know what? This song is going to be much more relatable if you write it from the perspective of a woman who's been hurt by pornography."
Mm.
You know, and sure enough, I've got a line in there. Why won't he come to bed? I mean, hard hitting kind of lyrics. And
Noticed that.
so,
I noticed
yeah,
that.
yeah. So, and it's, some of my songs were released by CD Baby, so they are anywhere that you listen to streaming. That song and the other ones I mentioned, they're all on Spotify, they're on Amazon, Apple, everywhere that, CD Baby will take them. And they're also on YouTube, but sometimes they're not as a video.
Right,
They're
right.
they're on the YouTube Music. And then I wrote another song called "We Could Lose Everything." I sat down to write a Christmas song. It was like an assignment from one of my chapters. Let's write a Christmas song. And I sat down at the table and I could not stop thinking about the news. People losing their homes every day, floods, you know, and the people in Ukraine. It just breaks my heart. So I wrote this song called "We Could Lose Everything, but We Cannot Lose the Lord." And of
Mm.
course, I took that song to another songwriting group, and they said, "Oh no, you should say we should never lose the Lord. We can never lose the Lord,"
Right, right.
which is so true. But yeah, um, and then I have other songs that are just for the world. Just try to do like good advice kind of songs.
No,
And
it's so interesting that music has always, realistically, music has always had ability to cause people to put their guard down and hear someone that it's like if a preacher comes up, guard goes up because you got to check to make sure they're not crazy. You got to check to make sure. Music, it's almost like okay, people put their guard down. Let's see what you got. And so musicians, people in the arts, have always had believers in the arts have always had a unique opportunity to witness and share the gospel to people in a way that preachers are more like the direct. Here's I walk around with my Bible. You know what I mean? So it's like, this guy. We know what this guy's about. With artists, I think there's a level of connection and intimacy that is available spiritually. That like if I'm going through something, and I love the way that God uses creativity to provoke how majestic and mysterious life really is. So if I'm going through something and I hear one of your songs and it's describing exactly what I'm going through, either God gave you that message or God allowed you to be vulnerable about what you're going through. But now I know I'm not alone. Now I
yeah,
know there's someone that knows what I'm going through and can help me out, and that is such a powerful, encouraging thing. Um, when you're writing, and this is one of the things that I wanted to ask you, when you're writing, how do you not overthink? First of all, to complete, because I know something about artists, they are their worst critics. All right. All right. So how do you not overthink, and how do you allow God to kind of flow through you? What is your process?
um, sometimes I'll do a little riff on the guitar. I'm a guitarist, so that's where I write from. But most of the time, it starts with an idea. What do
Yeah.
I want to write about? And I'll just start writing, and I might fill up 3 pages. And of course, not all of those 3 pages is going to get into the song. But I circle the words that are good rhyming words, and I think it through, and then I bring a first draft to my songwriting groups. I belong to the Nashville Songwriters Association International, and they have chapters all over the United States, and they've got a few in Europe also. You
Oh
can
wow.
bring a song to the group. It's all Zoom. Uh, many of them are Zoom. And I attend the chapters in DC, Baltimore, Atlanta has a Christian chapter. Of course, the Orlando chapter, that's where I live, Orlando, Florida. I go to that chapter. And I think just a couple days ago, I guess it was last evening, I went to the Colorado Springs chapter and the Knoxville, Tennessee chapter because you can bring a song. You're there with other songwriters. You're looking at the lyrics and you're listening to the song, and it's just a great way to get feedback. It's like, well, I didn't understand that part of your song. Okay, well, it's time for me to do some editing. And I do versions. It's like I do version control. It's like this is the first draft, that's version one, then there's version two, because I got some feedback. I needed to rewrite. Sometimes it's just a matter of putting verse two in place of verse one. Have them switch places. It makes more sense this way, you know?
Yeah.
So so editing is so important. You want to bring the song back. Okay, is this song better now? Yeah, I understand it better. But that bridge, that needs some work. It's too long, or it's too short. Or, I mean, whatever they say. I have one song that was very complex. I got up to version 29. Talk about crazy editing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's like a lot of work. So, do you prefer live or studio, or are you, both?
I think it's important to do both. Sometimes I'll be in the middle of a performance, performing a song, and I'll slip of the tongue. I'll sing a different lyric. I thought, what? That was actually better, you know? So,
Right.
plus, I like to get songs. I mean, recording a song takes time. And being able to put a live performance up on YouTube, that's you're getting my newest things,
Yeah,
my newest
I
song.
I prefer live. Um, I'm an old school jam band guy, so I love the organic. I love seeing musicians connect. I love seeing an artist in that very same state that you were talking about, watching them, make a lyric up or even come up with the lyrics on the spot. I love that because it's happening in real time. And you know the studio, I believe, is just as important, like you said, the quality, the editing, and things
Oh
like that.
yeah.
But with music, it's meant to connect. It's meant to give that vibe. The one thing I will say is that I noticed that, like you said, you do play guitar. How long have you been playing?
Oh gosh, since I was 12. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah.
because the reason why I'm asking is because I know that this is like a big deal, and I know the holidays, whether you, it's hard to believe we're only like 5 months away from, you know Christmas. This is crazy, but I know that the instrument you choose has a lot to do with your personality, and there's also a destiny and a connection, like a genuine love connection between the person and the instrument. So how did you find out that you and the guitar were connected?
Well, I took piano lessons when I was 8 years old because my parents thought that was important. And so I took piano lessons for a while. And then in junior high, I started playing the cello. And but at about the same time, I guess it was one summer when I was about 11 or 12 years old. I think I was 12. My aunt Robbie out in New Mexico, she had a guitar and she had a little guitar songbook. And so she showed me a few chords, and boy, I mean, I went back to school and I was turning my cello on the side, practicing how to pick because I love the guitar so much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get it. I get it. Yeah. So I play guitar myself, and it was so interesting. My parents hate this story, but I'm gonna tell it anyway.
Okay.
So they thought that I was gonna do more of like the Motown R&B blues type stuff, and my dad comes in the room one day, and I'm jamming out to like Leonard Skinner, and I'm jamming out to Metallica, and he's just like, "No, where did I go wrong?" You know, and it's like, no, it's just I'm not a cool guy. I'm the crazy guy. So I'm a metalhead. I love Christian metal.
Don't
You know
you
what I mean?
know? Don't you know that there's one of the coordinators of the Baltimore chapter? Her name is Donna Sinkfield. She asked me to write music. That's my strength. A lot of lyricists come to me and ask me to write the music. She had some lyrics and she said, "Could you write the music to this?" And it was about a guy on a bridge. He's wanting to commit suicide. I'm thinking, boy, this is dark. The name of the song is "God's Not Done Writing the Story of You." It's about
Oh,
this guy talks the guy down off the bridge. I thought this is serious stuff. Did it with a minor, an E minor ninth, and I'm like, this is heavy metal.
yeah, yeah.
I put it into Suno and got a screaming guitar going and a screaming guy singing the song. And she said, "Wow, look, yeah, it was just it." And I think I played it for like this one lady at church. She said her dad listens to what they call white metal, Christian metal.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. I love all of the stuff like I said from when it was live bands and this and that. But I was gonna ask you this because the playing the guitar is one thing, and I know you did say you had somewhat of an advantage because you started off playing piano because you can kind of at least figure out how to read because they're the same. They're the same family when it comes to reading. But I would like to ask you, what about the writing? When did you find out that you could write?
I think it was when I made up my first little song, my little song on the guitar. When I was 12 years old, I just started playing, music on it, just
Yeah,
little melodies and stuff. And um, so, yeah, I wrote a love song to this guy in junior high school. You know, I mean, he didn't even say hello to me, but I was in love with him. I wrote a love song about him. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I was that guy. I was that guy too. I used to do stuff like that too, and I know there was always writing poems, and if I was angry, I was writing a poem or
Oh,
something like
yeah. Oh,
that.
yeah.
And now I do would like to ask you this because there was a time in the church culture where music was not allowed in the church. How do you feel about where we have become as believers in the art realm? How do you feel like we're doing? Because a lot of people say, "Oh, you got to have more edge. You got to do this. You got to do this." But where do you think we are as the body of Christ? Because before we were just singing hymns. To be totally honest with you, that's what we were
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
as far as a faith-based art culture, how do you think we're doing in our progression?
Jesus said to the woman at the well, she was asking, how should we worship God? We've got Jacob's well here, and then this mountain and stuff. And Jesus said, you should worship the Lord your God in spirit and in truth.
Ah,
So whatever is in spirit and in truth.
it's
I
in,
mean, have you ever been to an Ethiopian church?
wow.
They're loud.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, but as long as it's in spirit and in truth, it's a wide open door. It really is.
Yeah, I think that what happened is that you know, there was this fear of offending God. And so if the world did something, the believers were like, well, now because they did it, we can't because we don't want people to think. And it takes, this is why I started the show off the way I did it. It takes a pioneer, someone who's brave enough in the faith to say, no, we can go into this territory. We can bring the gospel in this area. And I'm really proud of a lot of the Christian rock bands. However, I would like to remind everybody that this isn't like what we're experiencing now as Christian music is because there were so many wonderful Christian artists before us that actually really, especially I'll say the around the '70s. Would you agree with that? With
Yeah, who was that guy that said we don't want the devil to get all the good music?
right, right, right. That's a
Yeah.
good point. Yeah,
So
go ahead.
yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Did you take any criticism? Because you've been doing this pretty much your whole life. Did you hear that? Like, don't be playing that rock music, girl. Yeah. Did you get that?
I have been I used to go to church in Maryland, Cedar Ridge Community Church, started by Brian McLaren. He was the founding pastor, and it just grew and grew. It was based on uh, Bill Hybels' church out of Chicago. How do we reach the unchurched? You know, we don't want to just get Christians from other churches. We want to grow our church with people who are seekers, people who don't know Jesus, and they're going to learn about it here at this church. And I was so fortunate because Brian McLaren was a songwriter. So I got to have some of my own songs. I'd get up there. I was part of the worship band. I got to have some of my own.
Wow.
I mean, what's your dream? That a congregation is singing a song you wrote.
Wow. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
they did. They sang a song. It's called "A Constant Thanksgiving," and it's on YouTube. It's on. I've even got a really nice YouTube video that shows families at Thanksgiving and stuff. But yeah, and then I got a new job in Virginia, and had to leave that church. And it was so funny because I felt God's foot in my back. It's like, it's okay. There's Christians in Virginia. so so I joined another church called New Hope. It is still going strong, and a similar thing. We want to reach the unchurched. We want to reach the community. We want to get people in who need to learn about Jesus. And wonderful, wonderful church. And but they were not open to songwriters. They were not open to that. I was part of the worship team, and I never got to sing one of my songs.
Wow.
Never.
We're in Virginia.
I'm sorry, what?
You know that we're in Virginia.
You are? Okay, what part?
Yeah, yeah, we're in Virginia Beach, the Virginia Beach,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Chesapeake
Yeah.
area, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake.
Yeah.
You know, it's so funny because uh, I do know that you're exactly right. That there's this thing where a lot of times a lot of times people only trust the music that the pastor has or the music that the denomination, and it's like no, just like I said before, we're never more like God when we're being our most creative. I want everybody to know that the YouTube channel is Paige Powell Music because I actually we're out of time and I want to play one of your songs.
Oh.
Which video would you like me to play?
Oh gosh. How about I'm a Sinner?
Okay, so we're gonna play "I'm a Sinner" by Paige Powell. Thank you so much for being here, and you gotta come back on because I really do love supporting independent artists and just sharing that journey with you. So this isn't like a regular news show or anything like that. We like to follow up with people because we become a family, and I just want to share your journey with you. And so I can't wait to connect. But we're out of time, guys. Be good to each other out there. Love you guys.
I'm a sinner. I murdered someone's smile using words like a knife.